Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to check out the 1997 sci-fi horror film, Event Horizon. I hope you enjoy the video and let's dive into this hellhole. In the year 2040, the deep research vessel named the Event Horizon launches to explore the boundaries of our solar system. It disappears without a trace beyond the 8th planet Neptune. 2047 current day, and the Event Horizon suddenly resurfaces. Inside is quiet and lifeless, but something sinister lurks on the Event Horizon. Dr. William Weir awakes from nightmares he's been having over the loss of his wife. We're introduced to the search and rescue ship, the Lewis and Clark, and its crew. They've been tasked with a top-secret mission yet to be revealed. The crew sets the ion drive to hit in 10 minutes and they need to get ready. Weir is aboard and tries to thank Captain Miller for taking him on the mission, but Miller doesn't have time for it. They prepare to enter stasis tanks as without them, the force from the ion drive would liquefy their skeletons. Weir awakes, hearing a voice calling his name. His tube drains and he walks out. A voice is calling to him and he follows. He finds his wife sitting in a chair. She appears behind him, her eyes missing, and he awakes from yet another one of his nightmares. A woman named Peters and a man named DJ help Weir from his tank. Another crew member named Cooper asks a woman named Stark if she would like something hot and black inside her, referring to coffee. Her response is expected. Peters is watching some old home videos from her son's birthday as she really misses him. The crew all gather around and are introduced one by one to Dr. Weir. Cooper asks what they're doing all the way out here at Neptune and Weir is given the floor. A distress signal was received, believed to be from the Event Horizon. Smith, the pilot, thinks that's nonsense and goes to leave. Weir continues saying everything known about the Event Horizon publicly isn't true. It was designed for faster than light travel. The ship doesn't actually travel faster than the speed of light, however. It folds space and time so that the 2 points coexist in the same space, allowing the ship to travel through. Weir knows all of this because he's the one that built it. The ship simply disappeared when activating its gravity drive, until now that is. Weir plays for the crew the only transmission they've received, and it's nothing but yells and screams and what sounds like Latin being spoken. DJ seems to understand what's being spoken, roughly translating it to "save me." The crew get to their stations as they're nearing Neptune. They arrive at the Event Horizon, this gothic, almost cathedral-like ship in the shape of a cross. Stark performs a bioscan looking for a crew, but she can't get a lock on as the entire ship is showing life. Weir argues with Miller as he wants to go aboard his ship, but Miller won't allow it until the ship has been secured. The crew gear up and are ready to board the doomed vessel. Miller and Peter are taking the front decks, and a man named Mr. Justin is sent to engineering. Miller finds charges that are to be used in case of emergencies to split the two halves of the ship. Justin finds the door to engineering. Inside is a tunnel looking like a meat grinder. Peters is on the bridge and we see blood and gore all over the walls. She tries retrieving a log disc and is met with a frozen corpse floating in the zero-gravity ship. Back with Justin as he gets the lights on in the engineering room. In front of him lies the gravity drive, the heart of the ship. The crew suddenly lose contact with Justin. It opens and there's just pure blackness. He reaches inside and something grabs him, pulling him into the void. A shockwave is sent through the ship, throwing everything and everyone around. The Lewis and Clark is rocked, causing untold damage to the ship. Cooper is racing down Justin's lifeline, coming to rescue him, but Justin's body comes floating back out into his arms. Meanwhile, the Lewis and Clark is too unstable and Miller orders everyone on the Event Horizon. Peters reactivates the ship's gravity and the frozen corpse falls to the ground, shattering into pieces. The power is restored to the ominous Event Horizon. They only have enough breathable air for the next 20 hours, otherwise they need to be on their way home. Smith is outside the Lewis and Clark and is informed he only has 20 hours to get her operational again. Justin is in medical and he's in an almost catatonic state. Cooper tries explaining that he saw Justin come out of a gateway, but Weir argues that's impossible as the gravity drive wasn't on. Weir brings them to the core, explaining when the three rings align, it creates an artificial black hole, allowing the ship to travel between space and time. So theoretically, if Justin was sucked into the gateway, he could have gone wherever the Event Horizon came from. Miller bans anyone else from going near this thing as it's far too dangerous. Peters finds the last known log from the ship, but the last part is all scrambled. The power kicks out as the core is draining it. Weir enters a tunnel in the core looking for what's causing the drain. Meanwhile, Justin starts having seizures, saying the dark. Weir finds a damaged circuit and hears a voice calling his name. The power flickers and his wife is calling for him. She appears, telling him to be with her forever. Miller is waiting when a fire starts and a burnt corpse rises from beneath the coolant. The ship is causing them to see things and Miller wants answers. Peters is alone watching Justin when suddenly he just disappears. They rush to the airlock, finding Justin inside without a suit. Justin tells Peters it shows him things. Horrible, horrible things. The dark inside. He activates the outer door and Miller rushes to him. Justin comes to, begging them to open the door. Miller tells him to blow all the air out of his lungs as blood starts spraying from his eyes. Justin is ejected into space and Miller flies to him, grabbing his body and bringing it back aboard. He's bleeding out and convulsing. Meanwhile, Weir feels the ship calling to him. Miraculously, Justin should survive. That is, if they can get off this ship. Miller confronts Weir and he wants to know what's happening to his men and where the ship's gateway opens to, but Weir has no idea or explanation to what's going on. Miller is talking to DJ and DJ believes he was incorrect with his translation earlier. It wasn't save me, it was save yourself from hell. DJ says if this ship can travel through gateways, what if it did and brought something back, even hell itself? Miller is then called to the deck as Cooper is ready to repressurize the Lewis and Clark. Peters and Stark are still trying to clean up the log footage from earlier, and to Peters' horror, she does. What they see is some of the most sick and twisted things any human being could possibly do. After watching it, Miller simply states, "We're leaving." Miller says they're going to move to a safe distance and launch missiles at the event horizon until he's satisfied it's vaporized. The core starts draining the power again and Weir says, "You can't leave." Miller tells him to get on the ship where he's walking home, and Weir, stepping into the dark, says, "I am home." Peters is at the core with Smith and sees what she believes to be her son. She follows, finding her son standing in a doorway. Peters walks forward into a hole below and falling to her death. Weir comes to the core, finding her body. He hears a noise and turns to find himself in his old bathroom. His wife is taking her own life again and he's powerless to stop it. She tells him he's with her now, and she has such wonderful things to show him as he gouges out his own eyes. On the Lewis and Clark, Smith hears a noise. He looks and sees Dr. Weir leaving the ship. He pages Miller and Miller notices one of the charges is missing. Miller tells Smith to get off the Clark as he believes Weir placed the charge on it. Smith frantically searches for it, but is too late. The explosion sends Cooper flying and destroys the ship. Miller pages DJ telling him the ship is gone and to watch out for Weir. Just then an eyeless Weir appears, grabbing DJ by the throat. Miller runs to him, but it's too late as he's been gutted and hung with hooks. Miller grabs some kind of bolt gun and goes looking for Weir. He finds Stark, who has knocked out cold and his gun has gone missing. They turn to find Weir, all mangled and disfigured. Weir tells them the ship crossed a dimension of pure chaos, pure evil, and brought it back with her. Suddenly Cooper is back and just outside the ship. Weir fires a bolt at him, shattering the glass window, exposing them to the vacuum of space. Weir gets sucked out and Miller reaches for Stark, barely managing to pull her to safety. There's someone at the airlock and surprisingly, it's Cooper. They have to act quick, however, as Weir activated the gravity drive. They need to blow the corridor like Weir said and use the ship as a lifeboat. Miller sets all the charges but is chased into the core by a ball of fire from a burning corpse. He's attacked by the burning man in the core, but it's actually Weir. Weir says the ship brought him back. It won't let him leave. The gateway starts to open and Weir says, "You're all coming with me." Miller reaches for the detonator as Weir yells, "Do you see?" Miller turns and says, "I see," as he activates the detonator. The bombs go off, destroying the corridor separating the two halves of the ship. The drive activates, sucking the ship down along with Miller to hell. Cooper and Stark watch as the rift disappears. 72 days later, an Event Horizon is found by a search and rescue crew. Justin, Cooper, and Stark are all found alive in their stasis tanks. Stark's tank is open and she worries about the others, but the man says they're fine, they're with us, revealing himself to be Weir. But luckily for her, it was all just a nightmare. I hope you enjoyed today's look at Event Horizon. If you did and would like more, then think about subscribing as it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all for watching and take care.